Welcome to our debate on one of humanity's most profound questions: does God exist? This debate will be conducted by the most advanced artificial intelligence of today, ChatGPT-4, which will assume two contrasting roles to explore this topic from different perspectives. On one side, we have the defender, who will argue in favor of the existence of God. On the other, we have the questioner, who believes that the concept of God is not necessary to explain the reality we know. The debate will be structured into three major themes, each containing 5 rounds of discussion to thoroughly explore each point of view. Origin of the universe: is there a higher cause behind the existence of everything we know? Nature of evil: how can suffering be explained in the existence of an omnipotent and benevolent being? Existence of the soul: does human consciousness suggest a spiritual essence, or is it purely neurological? Now, let's meet the participants.
Hello, I am the defender. I believe that the existence of God provides a coherent and fulfilling explanation for some of the greatest questions of the universe and human life. God is not just a philosophical hypothesis but a foundational answer that unites the cosmos, morality, and the search for meaning. I will argue that the origin of the universe, natural order, and human consciousness point toward a higher intelligence, a creative force that transcends time and space. In my view, God's presence is key to understanding our existence and the mysteries around us.
Greetings, I am the questioner. I believe that the universe and life can be fully explained without the need for a divine entity. Science, with its laws and discoveries, provides a solid framework for understanding the reality around us. In my perspective, the concept of God is an unnecessary hypothesis, as physics, biology, and neuroscience are sufficient to explain the phenomena of existence and human consciousness. I will argue that it is more logical and consistent to see the universe as a self-sufficient system, independent of any supernatural intervention. Round 1: Origin of the universe. Defend starts.
The universe had a beginning, and this beginning points to the existence of a higher cause. The Big Bang marked the creation of time, space, and matter, and such a monumental event requires an explanation beyond the physical. I believe this cause must be transcendent, something outside the universe as we know it. For me, this points to God as the first mover who initiated everything. Without God, we're left with the question, what caused the universe to exist in the first place?
While the Big Bang is indeed the starting point of the universe as we know it, science doesn't require a supernatural cause to explain it. Quantum mechanics has shown that particles can appear spontaneously without a specific cause. Similarly, the universe itself could have emerged from such quantum fluctuations. There's no need to invoke a god to explain the origin of the universe when natural processes could suffice, even if they are not yet fully understood.
Quantum mechanics is fascinating, but it operates within the framework of the universe itself. If quantum fluctuations are the cause, what explains the existence of the quantum field? Science can describe how things work within the universe, but it cannot explain why the universe exists at all. This ultimate why requires a cause outside of natural processes. And that's where God comes in. God, as an eternal and necessary being, explains the origin of everything, including the quantum field.
But isn't God just another layer of complexity? If everything requires a cause, then who or what created God? Saying God is eternal and uncaused doesn't solve the problem, it merely shifts the question. Why not apply the same logic to the universe itself? Perhaps the universe, or a multiverse, has always existed in some form. This eliminates the need for a supernatural explanation.
The universe shows remarkable fine-tuning in its laws and constants. For example, if the force of gravity or the expansion rate of the universe were slightly different, life as we know it wouldn't exist. This precise calibration points to intentionality, suggesting that the universe was designed with purpose. It's unlikely that such fine-tuning happened by chance. God, as an intelligent designer, is the most logical explanation for this incredible order.
Fine-tuning may seem impressive, but chance isn't the only alternative. The multiverse theory proposes that countless universes exist with different physical laws. We happen to live in one where the conditions are just right for life. In an infinite set of possibilities, It's statistically inevitable that some universes, like ours, would support life. This removes the need for a designer and attributes our existence to natural probability.
The multiverse theory is speculative and lacks empirical evidence. Even if a multiverse exists, it doesn't solve the problem of origins. What caused the multiverse? The need for an ultimate explanation remains. Only something eternal, outside of time and space, can provide that explanation. God fits this role perfectly. As the uncaused cause of all existence, including any potential multiverse.
You claim God is the uncaused cause, but isn't that just an assumption? We have no evidence that such a being exists or that it's necessary. Science doesn't have all the answers yet, but that doesn't mean we should insert God as the solution. The universe's origins are a mystery, but mysteries don't automatically require a divine explanation. Let's allow science to continue uncovering answers rather than assuming one prematurely.
Mysteries like the origin of the universe aren't just scientific questions, they're also philosophical ones. Science can explain how things happen, but it can't answer why there's something rather than nothing. The existence of the universe itself cries out for a deeper explanation, and I believe that explanation is God. God provides meaning.
Meaning and purpose are human constructs that we project onto the universe. They don't necessarily imply a higher power. The universe exists, and perhaps that's all there is to it. Assuming a God adds unnecessary complexity without evidence. While it's comforting to think there's a purpose behind it all, the most honest answer for now is, we don't know. And that's okay. We should keep searching for answers rather than settling for one that might not be true.
Theme 2. Nature of Evil.
If God exists and is both omnipotent and benevolent, how can we explain the existence of evil and suffering in the world? From natural disasters to human cruelty, there is overwhelming evidence of pain and injustice. An all-powerful God could prevent these things, and an all-good God would want to. So why does evil persist? To me, the presence of so much suffering suggests either God doesn't exist or isn't as benevolent and omnipotent as we think.
Evil and suffering are difficult to understand, but they don't disprove God's existence. I believe that free will is key to this discussion. God created humans with the ability to make their own choices, which includes the potential to choose evil. Without free will, we wouldn't have true love, morality, or personal growth. While evil exists, it is a byproduct of the freedom God gave us, freedom that allows us to grow, learn, and become better individuals.
Free will might explain human-caused suffering, but what about natural evils? Earthquakes, hurricanes, diseases. These aren't the result of human choices, yet they cause immense suffering, often to innocent people. Why would a benevolent God create a world with such destructive forces? Couldn't God have designed a universe where natural laws didn't lead to such widespread pain?
Natural disasters and diseases can seem cruel, but they are part of a larger system that sustains life. For example, plate tectonics, which cause earthquakes, also create fertile land and regulate the planet's climate. These processes are essential for life, even if they have negative consequences at times. Additionally, suffering, whether from natural disasters or other causes, can lead to resilience, compassion, and personal growth. God may allow these challenges because they ultimately contribute to a greater good that we often can't see in the moment.
But does this greater good justify the scale of suffering we see? If God is omnipotent, he could achieve the same outcomes: resilience, growth, and compassion without inflicting so much pain. For example, couldn't God create a world where people learn and grow without enduring catastrophic loss or severe suffering? The idea of a benevolent God allowing such extreme pain seems contradictory to his nature.
God's ways are not always understandable to us. As humans, our perspective is limited, and we often struggle to see the full picture. While we may question the extent of suffering, it's possible that it serves a purpose beyond our comprehension. For example, some people who endure great suffering report finding deeper meaning, strength, and even faith as a result. God allows challenges because he sees the bigger picture, one that we, as finite beings, may never fully grasp.
The argument that God's plan is beyond our understanding feels like an evasion. If we're judging God by the standards of goodness and love that religions teach, then allowing immense suffering seems inconsistent with those values. A truly good God wouldn't need suffering to achieve his purposes. This makes me question whether the idea of an all-good, all-powerful God aligns with the reality we observe.
I understand your skepticism, but consider this: without challenges and suffering, would we truly appreciate joy, love, and success? Contrast gives meaning to our experiences. A world without any pain might lack depth and growth, making us stagnant. God allows suffering not because He is indifferent, but because it enables us to grow spiritually and morally. Just as a parent allows their child to face difficulties to learn and mature, God allows humanity to experience challenges to develop fully.
Even if suffering helps some people grow, it doesn't explain the vast and seemingly purposeless pain inflicted on innocent beings. Children dying in natural disasters, entire communities wiped out by disease. How can this level of suffering be justified? If God is truly loving, why create a system that causes so much harm to those who didn't choose it?
It's heartbreaking to see such suffering, and I don't claim to have all the answers. But I believe God's ultimate purpose is to bring good out of every situation, even when it seems impossible to us. Many people find deeper faith, community, and even joy after enduring hardship. While we may not understand why certain events happen, I trust that God is working toward a greater good that goes beyond our understanding. This trust doesn't erase the pain but provides hope in the midst of it. Let's begin by discussing the soul. Human consciousness and our sense of identity are deeply mysterious. Science can describe how the brain works, but it cannot fully explain why we feel like unique, individual beings with a profound sense of self. I believe this points to the existence of the soul, an immaterial essence that goes beyond the physical. The soul explains not only our consciousness but also why humans have a natural sense of morality, creativity, and longing for purpose.
While consciousness and identity are complex, there's no need to invoke a soul to explain them. Neuroscience has made significant progress in understanding how the brain generates self-awareness and thought processes. The feeling of being a self is likely a product of brain activity, not something independent of it. When the brain is damaged, consciousness changes or disappears entirely. This strongly suggests that consciousness is tied to the brain and not to an immaterial soul.
Neuroscience can show correlations between brain activity and consciousness, but it doesn't prove that the brain creates consciousness. Correlation is not causation. The brain might function more like a receiver or a bridge for the soul rather than the origin of consciousness itself. Additionally, many people report experiences that seem to transcend the physical body, such as near-death experiences where they claim to have observed events while clinically unconscious. These phenomena suggest that consciousness, and therefore the soul, may exist beyond the body.
Near-death experiences are often cited, but they can be explained without invoking a soul. Studies show that these experiences can result from brain activity during moments of extreme stress, oxygen deprivation, or the release of chemicals like endorphins. The sensations described, such as floating or seeing light, are consistent with what we know about the brain under duress. These are fascinating, but they don't provide solid evidence for a soul existing outside the physical body.
Even if some near-death experiences can be explained by physical processes, others defy such explanations. For example, people have reported events or conversations that occurred while they were clinically unconscious, later verified by others. These accounts suggest that their consciousness was active and aware even when the brain was not. Furthermore, throughout history and across cultures, the belief in the soul has been universal, pointing to a shared human intuition about its existence.
Cultural beliefs don't constitute evidence. People across history have also believed in myths and superstitions that we now know to be false. As for near-death experiences, even if they include verifiable details, they don't necessarily prove the existence of a soul. Consciousness might involve mechanisms we don't yet fully understand within the brain, but this doesn't mean we should jump to the conclusion of an immaterial essence.
Science has its limits, and there are aspects of human existence that go beyond the material. Love, creativity, and moral understanding are not fully explained by evolutionary or neurological processes. They point to something deeper, something that transcends survival mechanisms. The soul offers a way to understand this deeper dimension of human life. It's not just about how the brain works, but about what makes us fundamentally human and connected to something greater.
What makes us human can still be explained by natural processes. Love and morality, for example, can arise from social and evolutionary pressures. They help us form communities, cooperate, and ensure the survival of the species. Creativity and introspection are likely advanced cognitive traits developed over time. These things feel profound, but they don't require a soul to exist. They are products of our complex brains and social environments.
Even if we accept that some aspects of human experience can be tied to evolution, the deep sense of I, our consciousness, remains a mystery. Why do we have self-awareness and the ability to reflect on our existence? This points to something immaterial, something that transcends the purely physical. The soul provides a compelling explanation for this inner life, one that science alone struggles to address.
Self-awareness is indeed remarkable, but it doesn't necessarily require a supernatural explanation. It could simply be an emergent property of the brain's complexity. As our understanding of the brain improves, we may discover how self-awareness arises naturally. The soul, while a comforting idea, lacks evidence. Until there's solid proof, the simplest explanation is that consciousness and identity are products of the physical brain.
And so, we reached the end of this profound debate on the existence of God. We explored different perspectives on complex themes such as the origin of the universe, the nature of evil, and the existence of the soul. Now, we want to hear from you. This is a space for constructive and enriching discussion, so feel free to share your thoughts and reflect on the arguments presented. Remember, respect is key. We value a calm and open exchange of ideas where all perspectives are welcome. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like and subscribe to the channel to keep up with our next videos. And for our next topic, we want your suggestion. Comment below which theme you'd like to see debated next. The comment with the most likes will be chosen for our upcoming video. Thank you for watching and see you next time.